series. Last week we were talking about your faith and money, and we were sharing. For those of you who were not here last week, we were sharing from the Apostle Paul's letter to his ministerial son, Timothy, who is also a young minister. So, a lot of times when we deal with younger ministers, and I'm talking about coming from experience, being a young minister, being one of the younger ministers back in my earlier ministry, um, when serving under a senior leader, when serving someone that is more um, ahead of you than you are, chances are you're going to have to navigate through ministry with a person that can show you the way and that has done it. Paul is one of those individuals who have done this ministry long enough to be able to share with Timothy things that he has already seen, things that he's already known. And when we're talking about being a Christian, we just came out of a series, The Church of Christian Conduct, and what having faith truly means. And we talked about faith last week, but we were also talking about relationship with God. Faith is built upon your relationship with God. We talked about um, how we must, when it comes to having a healthy relationship, we must consider the fact that we have to trust what we're believing in, right? We have to trust what we're believing in, or else that's not faith. Faith means that you're believing in what you're trusting. I talked about how, in having a healthy relationship, you want to be able to have security. You want to be able to have a relationship that is built on trust, because without trust, you can't be secure. And I know that from experience too. A lot of us know that. Uh, when you go on a job, you're not going to just go because they're giving you something, but you want to be able to be happy, one, in the job. You want to believe in the job that you're doing. And then you want to be secure in the job that you're doing. And that's with anything. When you're dealing with a person, you want to be able to know that you can trust the. You got to also know that you got to be able to believe in the person. They got to show you something that you have in common, that you can believe in, that you know, okay, I trust this person. And then I got to also be secure, knowing that this person is not going to turn their back on me, even when things get rough, even when things get hard. They won't back off of me. And this is the same with God. God is basically looking at us, and it's our faith in Him that must be just as strong, because God will provide for the people that He knows is with Him. Amen. So I put money together with faith because in this chapter, Paul is sharing with Timothy the pitfalls of money. Now we see the bad side of it, but there's a good side to money because we all need it. It's a necessity. We're in a um, we're in that age. We're in that era where money matters more than it did before. Money holds value, but we also must understand that there is value in God. We who are believers of God value God more because we know that money is, as long as you can have it, it's there, but it's also temporary because you can lose money too. Amen. But you can't lose God. You can't lose God, which means then if you can't lose God, you can't lose your faith in God. A lot of us do, but God is still there. He hasn't went anywhere. So on tonight, let me go right back to 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 6. And we're going to read verses 6 through 9. 1 Timothy 6, verse 6. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Verse 7, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Verse 8, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Verse 9, but they that will be rich, watch this, fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. So the question here tonight, why your faith matters so much to God. Why your faith matters so much to God. I quote the words in a 2022 article. It was written in the Delaware Gazette, that talks about how important is everyday life, having faith, how important faith is to everyday life. And it says, and I quote, and it's in the handout, faith is the inner resolve of believing that no matter the outcome, you are in the hands of God.